Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day number 251 on our updates daily in regard to the war in Ukraine. Of course, we most days are also reporting from Ukraine, and we will be doing that as well tonight. Zhenya is ready to go. We've had a full day. He has returned from Kyiv to Khmelnytsky, and much has happened and is happening right now in and around the war in Ukraine and around the world. We will look at all of it in just a few moments. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for purchasing on the Amazon list. Thank you for giving financially. Thank you for everything you do. Special thank you to our moderators who keep the chat safe and keep it enjoyable. Make sure you're chatting. Give your name, where you're from. The guys in Ukraine that watch this love seeing it, and it is an encouragement to them. So thank you very much. And without further ado, let me roll the man in here, and we're back, bud. Welcome.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Looking good back in Khmelnytsky. Hopefully you keep power long enough and internet long enough that we can get this done. I know it's what it is right now.
Yeah, hopefully for better.
Hopefully for better. So we shall see, and we'll keep our eyes on it. Hopefully I do not lose you during this update. Anyway, let's jump right into it. And we're going to start today with President Zelensky. He officially came out today and said, okay, it is true. We're at 40%. Official statement in our energy infrastructure. And you're feeling the effects of that. All Ukrainians are.
Yeah, for sure. Like everywhere. And there were lines during my stay in Kyiv. There were lines on the streets, the people, to getting the water. Because some people, didn't make reserve, and people didn't expect maybe so bad or for so long. So we learn our lessons and prepare.
Good. In thinking about electrical, in thinking about 40%, you've told us in the past that once we reach 50%, it's critical. I mean, we're critical now, but 50% is big time trouble. So hopefully we keep it under 50% and that number actually goes down as Ukraine is repairing. But we often think about normal things, light, cooking, the ability to heat, but there's much more involved. For example, Kyivstar being a mobile phone company, Privat Bank, it was also Monobank. There were other banks. When they don't have power, can't do anything. So companies are being affected. Yeah.
Yes, and I must to add something. If not our air defense system, we would have already 50%. Just think about that, like 55 missiles and 45 of it was hit. It means if we would pass or allowed to destroy 50% more of these missiles, they would destroy much more and we would have much bigger problem. And we need to remember this is the old technology Russia is still using, which is the Iran. It's coming
We'll talk about that in a moment. When the war started, Turkey came out and was trying to be very forceful, placing themselves. Remember, Erdogan early said, we want to be the second army in the world, et cetera, et cetera. And, Turkey's done a lot to help. We appreciate that. They've also been goofy on some areas with Russia, really do not ultimately know where they stand. But now we see that really the nation that is taking precedence in the world is Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get into that. And that's what you're referring to. It's a little ugly. But we'll get into that. Let's jump over here now to the east. Talk about Bakhmut. It's looking like Bakhmut is going to continue to be a big battleground. It's a fairly decent sized city, town. But once again, we've got it confirmed south of the city there. What is that? Orutny and Ivangrad?
Ivangrad, yeah.
Yeah, they are using phosphorus munitions just on people's homes. We'll take a look at this. This will actually, be a precursor to something we're going to show from Shoigu, but just watch. Phosphorus munitions are illegal against civilians. Here you go. This is just south of Bakhmut, these two little towns we were showing you. You can even see on the fields there the strikes, the shells, shelling, the black. Or that's where the phosphorus is burning. Regardless, they're just burning the city, these little towns. So that's south of Bakhmut, and that's what we're watching. It's terrorism.
100%, it's a terrorism, but it's so I think we're already used to different ways Russia are using where they cannot fight on equal. They're losing their battles on a ground, so they're using forbidden things.
Right. Well, let's give an update talking about a forbidden thing. Let's take a look tonight. We have a little bit of an update on Kherson. Down here, as you guys know, we're just above the Black Sea now. We're zoomed into Kherson. You can see Mykolaiv there to the upper left corner. And of course, this region in here is where Zhenya and I were serving down there. And this is where our partner works, Oleg. So it makes me think about him tonight. No, he's running those muddy roads. But couple of arrows here in a blue circle. Let me explain it, then we'll get Zhenya's comments. We'll start with the black arrow. The administration of the Khersonian Russian fake government has relocated their headquarters out of Kherson, and they've came all the way down to the sea. What is that? That's Skadovsk. So that's what they've done. Purple. They are along that whole riverbank there. They are taking people out and withdrawing them down south and towards Crimea and also towards that Skadovsk area. Red arrow. Russia is continuing to reinforce this west bank, this left bank, bringing in munitions, bringing in soldiers. Even today, Kyiv said, we are aware that they may try to trap us once we come into Kherson, but don't worry, we're aware of it. We know what they're planning. And then finally, the blue circle, red triangle, that's the dam at Novokakhovka. And yes, it is still on the table for terrorism there to flood that whole river basin. So that's what's happening in Kherson today.
I cannot, comment a lot about Kherson because at this moment, to be honest, I'm in expectation. Of results of our guys, because our guys, there is a serious struggle, serious fights going on, and because of, I would say, too much information from different sides, and my closest friends there, they said, okay, just wait. So for our guys, we need just to wait. For these Russians, we know they having a process. If they would, count and trust their army, they wouldn't leave that place. Or if they would prepare any, let's say, terrible things there, it's the other way. This is why they're pulling out their people. They're like administrations and so on who works for them. So we need, let's pray for the light would win there.
Yeah, it's we just have to wait and see, because we know something's coming and both sides are going to try. Now, with that said, we've discussed Kherson, we've discussed blowing the dam, we've talked about phosphorus munitions, we've talked about critical infrastructure already from Zelensky, 40%. These are real struggles. You're living in it every day. And that brings me to this. Shoigu today and look at his little conference there and all the screens. Listen, it's high tech. They're sitting there talking, and Shoigu gives a report. We have it translated. I'm going to play it, and then we'll get Zhenya's response. Here is Shoigu talking today about the terrorist nation, not Russia, Ukraine.
Ударами высокоточного оружия продолжаем эффективно поражать объекты военной инфраструктуры, а также объекты, влияющие на снижение военного потенциала Украины. При этом принимаются исчерпывающие меры по недопущению гибели украинских граждан. В свою очередь, киевский режим продолжает осуществлять террористические акции по уничтожению мирного населения и разрушению социальных объектов. Вооруженные силы Украины не прекращают обстрелов Запорожской атомной станции, точек эвакуации и мест раздачи гуманитарной помощи, сознательно нанося прицельные удары по скоплениям гражданского населения. Отражаем атаки средств воздушного нападения противника. За последние 10 дней перехвачено более 200 реактивных снарядов «Хаймерс».
So I'll let you respond to Shoigu. You're attacking, you being Ukraine, humanitarian points, Zaporozhye. You're attacking civilians en masse, and they're coming to save everybody.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
This is what they announced right in the beginning of their so-called special military operation. So I think a lot of people in United Nations already got to the point that where could say we are fed of that listening their fantasies and their fairy tales, their imaginations. We tired of that. So reality is, I think the day is coming when the presidents will do the same of different countries, and they say, okay, they will do the same. They said that's enough listening. So this speech to Russians and pro-Russians, probably Belarusian. So Shoigu blames
Iranians,
huh?
Iranians,
yes, for sure. Maybe Chinese, maybe North Korea, and the other people who are like happy to play this kind of games. I believe we had these lessons in the past during the World War II, and we just few days ago were quoting the Hitler about let's be friends. So reality is, we Ukrainians knowing reality, we live in this country, and doing what? He's blaming what? Targeting the civilians. This is what they were doing in Mariupol and continuing doing it. In Vinnytsia, they're doing non-stop by using their missiles. So all the top leaders country in the military world, they are already confirmed this is for Russian missiles. So in reality, the truth is known for professionals. For simple people, this is the, let's say, risky zone, like when the person's not everyone are choosing the proper sources and having the critical mindset. So this is what Shoigu, they're counting for, where they are recording it, trying to create this, the theater of how powerful we are, what kind of technologies we have, how many generals are there. Everyone is with the flags of, and so on, and blaming people, killing Ukrainians by what? UN called, please prove it. Everything you doing statement, prove it. They did prove nothing, and it's just continuation. Just the words.
Two things. Number one, you see Zvezda News. Absolutely, this is on every news Every Russian citizen will see this, but there's something you need to pay attention to in that diagram there, where Shoigu is in the black circle. You have already been warning the world that there is a possibility that this ODKB will come together at some point to come against Ukraine or anybody else. If you look on those images, there are ODKB generals there. Look at the flags. You can see the flags behind them.
Yeah.
Those are the partner nations. That is what we have to pay attention to, because it's happening right in front of our eyes. But we'll see.
I think we will come back to that later.
We will come back to that later. Let's move to this now. Russia placing Iranian missiles on the northern border of Ukraine. And Yuri Ignat came out today. He is Air Force spokesperson for Ukraine, and says we have no defense against them. Missile ranges are 300 or 700 kilometers and ballistic. Theoretically possible to shoot them down, but in fact, very difficult to do it with the means that we have in service. We have air defense, not missile defense. Now, this is what we're talking about. Probably a couple of weeks ago, we were talking that these missiles were coming. Iran was selling these missiles to Russia, and here we have it. They're now being placed on the borders. These are the 4 qualifications that are there, and more coming. You have the Shahab, the Fateh, the Shahab 2, and the Zulfiqar. 300-kilometer range, 500-kilometer range, 700-kilometer range. And over on the left, this was by Institute for Studies. Iran possesses the largest and most diverse missile arsenal in the Middle East, with thousands of short and medium-range ballistic and cruise missiles capable of striking from them as far as Israel and southeastern Europe. So these are the missiles, and we're not even talking about the drones. I have a picture of the Shaheds up there in the upper right. We're not even talking about drones. This is going to potentially be a problem.
Yes, I think the situation is like that. The Russia are pressing from different sides onto Ukraine and attacking. They're changing the fronts, and now they're moving their weapons and the drones and the other kinds of attacking weapon to Belarus, to the north. But in reality, if the Iran, let's say, would have success in transporting it to Russia, and Russia would have possibility to launch it from 3 sides, from the south, for example, from the east and the north, we have so bad limits of possibility to stand against of it. And just for a second, we got just one IRIS, one system from Germany, and it seems to me last week or a few days ago attack, this system worked with efficiency 100%. But we have only one system like that.
Well,
it means at this moment, looks like some of the partners of Russia supplying the missiles with a speed much more faster than Ukraine gets help from the partners, at least for protecting. I mean, this is the equipment and a weapon for protecting our sky. This is what we were starting from.
We do have 2 NASAMS from America, which is National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile System. They're bad boys. And we have 8 more coming. But let's be honest, they will do their job just like the IRIS system. They're amazing. They're coming. 2 are there. But Ukraine's really big. And these 10 systems, of which now we have 2 in 1, we need a lot more. The reality is
Iran sends thousands. Ukraine, has nothing to. We have no shield, let's say.
Correct.
So if the sword and the spears and the other stuff going from different sides, you need something. You need protection. And this is reality.
Well, here's another reality. Right now, Ukraine, the soil in Ukraine is the most mined soil in the world. There are more mines in Ukraine right now, just due to this war, than any other nation in the world. In addition to that, the Iranian missiles, drones coming, the supplies that are coming to Ukraine, thankfully. One purpose for this graphic and one purpose only. Every day, Ukraine and the region around it is becoming more weaponized. It's just getting exponentially more dangerous there. It's just, there's weapons everywhere now. Big weapons.
I mean, you need to add
what
probably.
Can you do? Yeah.
It's a right to continue and to add it. The
No
reason
question.
why we didn't ask and we didn't need all of that, if not the aggression of Russia. We would not need any of it. We would not make any of the requests if the Budapest Memorandum would work for Ukraine. The countries who took responsibility for the protection and of the sovereignty, Ukraine, of our borders, would take their parts right in the beginning. So at this moment, yes, a lot of things, not just with the weapon, but a lot of broken lives, and the people who I think United States has a fresh enough memory to remember what was going right after Vietnam's war with the people who was fighting there. What was the tragedy after? And at this moment, we have no choice. We need to fight. We fight for our land. But the reality is, more and more people, will experiencing crazy stuff in here.
Well,
And
due to the amount of Iranian missiles coming, and they are coming, period. And we're going to talk about Iran as we close out the update tonight. But due to the volume, Kyiv is doing something. I'm going to put the number up there, 425. So I will ask you tonight a question. What does the number 425 represent today?
it represents the example and the hope for people from Kiev, an example of the care and planning and of possible expectation of what's coming. It's a bomb shelters.
Nuclear.
Nuclear. Yes, this is important. Nuclear bomb shelters. It means that with all of the discussions, with all of the comments and everything, nobody controls Putin.
Correct. Nobody controls Putin. And we have 425 bomb shelters current, will be retrofitted to the best of Kyiv's ability for nuclear defense for citizens to get to by November the 15th, in 2 weeks, over the next 2 weeks. It just speaks to what is happening. Now, speaking about Putin doing what he wants to do, he is empowered to do that, not only by his people, not only by Shoigu making these speeches, not only by Iran definitely partnering together with Russia. It's a fact. It's obvious. We have a coalition happening right in front of our eyes, but there are other partners that we discovered today. Who are they? Right here. This graphic shows you who is still trading with Russia. It marks the sales and trades with Russia from February the 24th, 2022, which was the day of invasion in phase 2 of this war. Let's look at who has decreased first. That's in the orange. Germany, 3%. At least it's decrease. UK, 79%. Britain, Boris Johnson was doing good. Sweden, 76%. US, 35%. Okay. South Korea, of course, our great ally there, having to deal with North Korea's madness right now, and they're talking about nuclear war, 17%. Who has increased? Brazil, 106%. And they just had elections and went crazy down in Brazil. Japan, 13%. China, 64%. India, 310%. We've been calling that one for months. Turkey, 198%. What? Spain, 57%. Netherlands, 32%. Belgium, 81%. These are real numbers on trade volume with Russia.
I don't know, will you be agree with that statement, but this is like an example of the principles of this country. Like,
I would agree.
In a case of need, they would trade it. The freedom for the best comfort. Sorry.
Listen, we didn't make those numbers up. They speak for themselves.
Okay, there is the other side. Probably it's fair to add it. I'm thankful for everything those countries doing for Ukrainians. And there is a good examples of countries who were acting in the beginning one way and at this moment going opposite way, like huge changes in Germany, for example. Mm-hmm. But reality is like it. Okay, let's say one is depending of the money, but it means if it's stabilizing, they just holding the number. It's okay. It just shows. Being dependent of Russia. But if it's increasing, there is a war, and war is people dying. So for some countries, it's a possibility to make money with aggressor.
Well, here's the deal.
It's increased.
With the grain deal, for example, the nation that makes the most money off the grain deal is Turkey, because Turkey receives it, they mill it, and they ship it again. This is a part of that agreement. But we know they're making money with Russia. But the other the two big ones, India is a nation with 1 billion plus people. China, 1 billion plus people. Mega population nations. And 310%. I mean, we knew it. We've known it for months in China. So, it's ugly. But we'll see. It's ugly. Let's look here. They're coming. KGB leader in Belarus today coming out and saying, I want Belarusians to know that the 101st Airborne and the Polish military are getting ready to invade Belarus through the Polish border. Just be aware. If only they would. Wouldn't it be nice? Of course, this is not true, but this is the propaganda they sell. Why are they selling it? So they can rally more Belarusians to fight against Ukraine. It's simple. The other flag I have there is Chechnya. I'll show this, folks. The Chechens are in Belarus, period. The Kadarites, they're there, and they'll fight. Let's see here. Right here, Chechens in Belarus. You can see their flag, the Russian flag. They're ready to go. So why do they do this? Of course, the 101 is not coming across that border. I wish they would, but they're not.
Okay, we were building huge systems of like defending, especially the air defense on the south, and at this moment, and they're moving on the north. using their Kadyrovs or Chechens or other guys. The question is why and what for.
Mm-hmm.
If they are not about to attack from there, that means that probably they are going at least do something to pull out the part of our systems, part of our really effective military units from the south to the north. Plus ODKB, we were talking before. I believe my personal side of it, the view, it's they trying to create everything possibility to attack Ukraine, to make Ukraine attacking Belarus back. So about the back, it's the same with the Russian ships. They were killing, launching the calibers, launching missiles to Ukraine, killing people, destroying infrastructure, everything. And when the drones, the sea drones, attack those ships, they say it's terroristic act. Ukrainians are terrorists. Why? Because they attacked our military ships. So I believe they will do everything for Ukraine would answer back with the trying to protect, and after that they will say, hey, here is it, the article number 4 or our local agreement, military agreement, attack on one of the member of our alliance, let's say,
Alliance
means attacking one, and it depends, and it brings situation that everybody is obligated to help to fight
Well,
with
probably
Ukraine.
you could say it this way. They're trying to get Ukraine to attack Belarus or to do something where they can activate that agreement, that Article 4 out of the ODKB. And then when they do that, they can validate that they had the strong relationships because all the agreements Ukraine had to protect their borders, nobody came in to help them defend their borders. Yes, some weapons were sent, but there's not a boot on the ground officially. So that's the game that's being played. Let's go to the last thing for tonight, and this is the big deal happening tonight, happening right now. First of all, there are elections in Israel going down right now, looking like Netanyahu may win. They're having some issues there, but that's one thing. But Iran today, the alert went throughout the world. The United States intelligence, Saudi Arabia intelligence is saying we are expecting an imminent terroristic attack from Iran. I don't know where. I don't know how. I don't know anything. But these are the alerts that are out. Once again, this will do nothing but cement the relationship between Iran and Russia. As these alerts go out from America and from Saudi Arabia, it will confirm to Iran and the terrorists there, they're doing right. But that's what's happening tonight. As we said at the beginning, the war in Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine, Russia invading, man, Iran is becoming a big player in this quickly.
We need to remember what's going on last weeks and months there in Iran. A lot of people, the demonstrants are fighting with the disagreement of what's going on with their leaders. They disagree with their government. And this is what Russia were doing all the time when the Putin was losing his popularity, let's say, or approving the people. They were doing something, starting the wars, annexing the territory, and at this moment they started the war as well. I believe one of the reasons it's for people would just stop their talking and the disagreement that nothing is getting better during all of these 20 years, let's say. This is what Iran is doing. They're trying, okay, people or demonstrants, it's nothing about you now. We need to pull it aside because we have a war. If they're starting the new level, let's say, yes, I think it, or they will change their local laws. maybe change the situation in the country by, we have a war stage or something.
One thing for sure we can say, and we don't know, we'll be watching this over the next few days and we'll see what happens. But one thing through all of this we can see is Iran uses similar strategies to that of Putin for controlling their people and controlling their nation, controlling the narrative, their terroristic regime. But secondly, we can see a partnership growing day by day between Iran and Russia.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at, and it's extremely dangerous. So folks, that's the update for tonight. It's a great update. We're doing good, man. We're keeping that tempo going, and I believe the people, part of the community, are enjoying the speed and covering everything that we do. So thank you, buddy. Continue to stand up for Ukraine. We will.
Thank you for standing with.
You're welcome. All right, bud. We made it through. You kept the internet and you kept power.
Yeah.
Make sure.
2 hours already. Electricity.
Yes,
I'm
2
happy.
hours of power. All right. Well, make sure you have an extra blanket on you tonight in case it goes off. So, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
We love you, and we'll check on you tomorrow.
See you.
A good night to all.
To all a good night.